So hearing some of the student stories kind of inspired me to think back to when I was just graduating. I majored in history, and then I double majored in ethnicity, race, and migration. And I was studying a lot of these immigrant stories and kind of immersing myself in the theory. And I knew that it was a subject that I wanted to continue to write about, to research, and yet the medium, right, to hear all of these stories that moved me, and then to write an academic paper, I couldn't quite connect with it. And I was kind of moving in this direction of pursuing my artwork and thinking about becoming a writer. And so when I graduated, I knew that I wanted to come home. I was on the East Coast. And my dad, Malaquias Montoya, and my colleague now, Carlos Jackson, they had just painted a mural in Knights Landing. And I went out and visited and just thought it was this wonderful community and a little town. And I ended up just kind of on a whim renting a room there. And I ended up spending a year in Knights Landing. And I wanted to kind of research the undocumented farm workers that were out there. And I kind of fell into this trap that I think as allies or those who live outside the immigrant experience of thinking about the immigrant experience in the abstract, right, or in this very general way. And so I was making paintings and kind of telling stories, but from this distance, and I didn't know how to kind of overcome that distance. I didn't know how to get closer. It wasn't until I had already been living in Knights Landing for a couple months that I started playing soccer across the way. There's the soccer field is kind of in the center of town. And all the players were the undocumented field workers, and our entire offense lived in the first apartment there on the wayside off of 113. And we'd play, and afterwards we would just hang out, and we would tell jokes, and I would hear their stories, and they were curious about me, so it wasn't just that they were sharing their stories, but I was also talking about what I was doing as an artist, as a writer, interested in kind of hearing their stories. And so it didn't feel like research, it just felt like making this connection, and we became friends, and we were teammates, and so for the year that I lived there, absorbing these stories